Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottanam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jamudihayat. Nastapayasya bhattesya nityam bhagavato sevya bhagavato tamasloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. I read the first verse in Sanskrit. Yodhyatmikoyam purusa so saf eva di devika yastatra bhaya vishedya purusoya bidotika. Just a moment. I missed technical thing here. Okay, here we are back. The word for word translation. Yaha, one who, adhyatmika, is possessed of the sense organs. I am this. Purusa, personality. Saha, he. Asa, that. Eva, also. Adidevikaha, controlling deity. Yaha, that which. Tatra, there. Ubhaya, of both. Visheda, separation. Purusa, person. He, form. Adibodikaha, the visible body of the embodied living entity. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The individual person possessing different instruments of senses is called the Adhyatmic person. And the individual controlling deity of the sense is called Adidevik. The embodiment seen on the eyeballs is called the Adibautic person. Purport. The supreme controlling summum bonum is the personality of Godhead in its plenary portion of Paramatma, or the supersoul manifestation. In the Bhagavad Gita 10.42 it is said, Atava bhavunetena kim yatena tavarjuna vistabhyaham idam krichnam ekamsena stito dyat. All the controlling deities like Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva are different manifestations of the Paramatma feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who exhibits himself in such manners by entering into each and every universe generated from him. But still, apparently, there are divisions of controllers and controlled. For example, in the food controlling department, the controller of food is a person made of the same ingredients as the person who is controlled. Similarly, each and every individual in the material world is controlled by higher demigods. For example, we have our senses, but the senses are controlled by superior controlling deities. We cannot see without light, and the supreme controller of light is the sun. The sun god is a sun planet, and we, the individual human beings, or any other being on this earth, are all controlled by the sun god as far as our eyes are concerned. Similarly, all the senses we have are controlled by the superior demigods, who are also as much living entities as we are, but one is empowered while the other is controlled. The controlled living entity is called the Adhyatmic person, and the controlled is called the Adidevic person. All these positions in the material world are due to different fruitive activities. Any individual living being can become the sun god, or even Brahma, or any other god in the upper planetary systems by a higher grade of pious work. And similarly, one becomes controlled by the higher demigods by lower grades of fruitive activities. So every individual living entity is subject to the supreme control of Paramatma, who puts everyone in different positions of the controller and the controlled. That which distinguishes the controller and the control, this is the material body, is called the adibautic Purusha. The body is sometimes called Purusha, as confirmed in the Vedas in the following hymn. Savaisha Purusana Purusona Rasamaya. Sava Isa Purusona Rasamaya. That's from Anna Rasamaya. This body is called Anna Ras embodiment. This body depends on food. The living entity which is embodied does not eat anything. However, the living entity which is embodied does not eat anything. However, because the owner is spirit in essence. I read that again. The living entity which is embodied does not eat anything. However, because the owner is the spirit in essence, so the spirit soul does not eat. The material body requires replacement of matter for the wearing and tearing of the mechanical body. Therefore, the distinction between the individual living entity and the controlling planetary deities is the Anarasamaya body. The sun may have a gigantic body, and the man may have a smaller body, but all these visible bodies are made of matter. Nonetheless, the sun god and the individual person who are related as the controller and the controlled are the same spiritual parts and parcels of the Supreme Being. And it is the Supreme Being who places different parts and parcels in different positions. And thus the conclusion is that the Supreme Person is the shelter of all. I read the verse again. Yodhyatmikoyam Purusha Sosav Eva Videvika Yastatro Bhaya Fisheda Purushoya Dibautika. The individual person possessing different instruments of the senses is called the Adhyatmic person, and the individual controlling deity of the senses is called Adidevik. The embodiment seen on the eyeballs is called the Adibautic person. Om Jnana Timanasya Jnanjana Smakya Saksun Militam Yena Tasmai Sikrave Namah. Chichitayamanopistam Staptam Yena Bhutale Svam Rupakadamyam Dadati Svapadantikam. Vandeham Shiyo Shiyuda Padkamalam Shigam Vaishnavam Shah. Shri Rupam Jagajatam Saganaragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savaduttam Parijana Saitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganadita Shivishakam Vitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dino Bandhu Chatpate Gopesha Kopka Kanta Rad Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshri Prishabhani Sutadevi Panamama Haripriya Vavancha Kalptubhisha Kripasan Bevasha Patnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasad Gaura Bhaktavina Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pacharani Nirvishesha Srinyavadi Paskatai Jazatarani Srila Prabhupada Ki. When I first read this purport, I was thinking, we are used to these terms, but in a different way. Usually I use these terms to identify three kleshas: the adibautic klesha, the klesha means misery, adibautic are all other living entities that and other living entities gives us suffering sometimes. That Of course, it could be the tax collector, that is certainly, or it could be a mosquito, that other living entities. And the adhyatmic klesha, the suffering we get through the body, diseases, and so many things. And Adidevic klesha, that's nature, earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, freezing cold water. So, but here the terms are used differently. It's in a slight different way, in different context. Usually we have the word klesha with it. That the body klesha, the dhyatmic klesha, the devic klesha. But now Srila Prabhupada is putting the word person with it. He says the adhyatmic person, the adibautic person, and adidevic person. So the idea we find in this purport is that there is a controller and there is a controlled. That, of course, from Brahma up to the end, all living entities depends on Krishna. That, and Krishna makes that clear in the Bhagavad Gita, that he is the Purush Uttama, is the highest person. Therefore, we have chapter 15 is called the Purushottam, or yoga, of the yoga of the Supreme Person. And there at the end of the 15th chapter in the Bhagavad Gita, we find the Trisloka Gita in three verses, the essence of Vedanta. And in this first of these three verses, Krishna said, Vam ima purusha loke kshara saksharivasha. Kshara sarvani bhutana kutasto kshara uchate. Krishna says there are two classes of being, the fallible and the infallible. So in this material world, everyone is fallible, he says. In the spiritual world, everyone is infallible. But then he's saying, Uttama Purushattvaya Paramet Udarita. Yolokatrayam Afisya Vibhakta Afya Ishvara. But besides these two, there is the Supreme Personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord who has entered the three worlds and is maintaining them. So Krishna said, okay, there are the fallible and infallible, but I control both. The fallible, I control to the material energy, and the infallible to the spiritual energy. So we are controlled by these modes, but Krishna has made a kind of ecology. We know in ecology there is one living entity is food for another. So by that there is a whole system, ecological system is there that maintains balance in nature. That, but here, that's from an external view we can view, but here, here in the Bhagavatam, it's more deeply explained how this works. Because, of course, you have this verse, Nitya Nityananam, Setsa Setananyam, and then Krishna is the eternal amongst the internal, is the big soul among all souls. And he's the one who maintains all the others. And so how does he do that? Therefore, Krishna has brought in or created this system of the controller and the controlled. So they are all persons, but Krishna is a supreme controller. He's going also to control all other controllers. So we are controlled, this body is controlled by the Adidevic person, by the demigods, 33 million demigods or something like that. And they are working together but these demigods, they are working with inspiration on the super soul in their heart. The super soul is called Upadrast Anamantasa. Upadrast is the overseer. The overseer, and Anamanta permits. So he's overseeing and he guides, is also in the heart of all these 33 million demigods. And he's giving them, he makes them act in certain ways so that they give the exact reaction for the karma to each living entity. It's very genius that, but they are all persons, from Brahma to the insignificant, and all entities depend on Krishna. We spoke about these kleshas, but here we are speaking about persons. Of course, that's, I remember when I was in Germany, this is more than 30 years ago, was in Berlin, yeah, Berlin in Deutsch, yeah. And devotees went on Harinam, but they were near to the harbor. Where is that area with so many prostitutes and so on? That's not the best area for devotees to go. But anyway, they did Harinam not far from them. And suddenly from one of these brothels, a very giant person came out. And he was running to the devotees to attack them. And the devotees were chanting Hare Krishna mantra, but when they saw him coming running, they started to chant Namaste Narasingaya, Nrsimha prayers. And he looked very fierce and very big body, and he was running to attack them. And 10 meters from them, he got a heart attack, fell down and died, finished. I always remember that, yeah, that we make plans, we are going to do this and that, but Krishna is in the heart, is the permitter. That he instructs the demigods to give reactions. We get that. So all these living entities, if Krishna does not enter in them as a super soul, they cannot act independently. They cannot act. So they must act in according to Krishna's instruction. That so depend on Krishna. They depend on Krishna. In Krishna consciousness, we become aware about our dependence on Krishna. So you have this cosmic ecology. You have many living entities, and all their bodies are anarasa bodies, because it's ana means food, is based on food. That so this body is transformed food. So it is that if you eat prasadam for 6 years, only prasadam, then every cell in your body is replaced by prasadam. And then usually it becomes more easy to control your senses. But yeah, anarasa body. But one person controls another. You have the boss of the company is going to control the employees, that and the wife controls the man, the husband, or vice versa. Yes, that's, you have this ecology in nature. Snake eats rats, while living at his food for another. But the controller and the controlled, they are depending on karma. Like Indra gets a heavily body because he has good karma. That and those who have less good karma, maybe they become humans or they become animals. According to one's karma, we get the body. The body is made of karma. That, but Krishna is the controller of the controlled. So that's what he says here in the Bhagavad Gita. I'm above the fallible and infallible, and I control both. The infallible is controlled by Krishna to the material energy. It means the infallible is in the spiritual world and is controlled by the spiritual energy, and the fallible is controlled by the material energy in this material world through all these agents. But Krishna is the supreme controller. That and sometimes the demigods, they forget this, that Krishna is the supreme controller. There's a story in one of the Puranas, I don't know exact which one, but at one time the demigods were a little, arrogant, because they felt very powerful and independent. That, but one time in the assembly of the demigods, suddenly they saw a very beautiful person. They were thinking, who is this person? The demigods came together, and who is going to find out who is this person? And they said, yeah, okay, first Agni went. Agni went to this beautiful person and asked, he wanted to ask, who are you? But before he could ask, the person asked, who are you? And Agni was thinking, what question is that? Everyone knows me. I'm Agni. I'm the fire. I'm all pervading in this material world. But he said, yeah, to the beautiful person, yeah, I'm Agni fire. And then the beautiful person said, and what's so special about you? And Agni said, oh, I can burn forests and I can burn just everything in this material world. Very powerful. Oh, the beautiful person said, he had some grass between his fingers and said to Agni, okay, you burn this grass. And Agni tried with all his power to burn this grass, but he could not burn it. Okay, Agni disappeared. And then after that, they sent Vayu. And the same thing happened. Beautiful person said, well, who are you? And Vayu said, oh, I'm Vayu, I'm the mighty wind. And the person asked, beautiful person, what's so special about you? And Vayu said, I can cause tornadoes and destroy everything with my power of the wind. And the person said, okay, here are some straws of grass between my fingers. You blew it away. And Vayu tried with all his power, but he could not. And Vayu disappeared and went to the assembly of the demigods. Then they decided, Indra, you go. But when Indra came there, the beautiful person was gone. And instead, Parvati and Lord Shiva were there. And then Indra asked, do you know who this person was? And Parvati said, yes, this person is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Is your Lord and Master. So yes, that shows Krishna empowers every demigod to play a role, but under his guidance as a super soul within. That without his guidance, they cannot act independently. That like you have the story of Lord Ram. Lord Ram, when he was married with Sita in Mithila, then when he was married, then after the marriage, Dasarat and all those residents from Ayodhya who attended the marriage in Mithila, they went back to Ayodhya. And on the way, there was a big storm. And suddenly it became very dark. And suddenly before Ram stood a fierce person with a bow and an axe. This was Parasuram, who had annihilated 21 dynasties of Kshatriyas who were not following Dharma, doing their duty. And Dasarat wanted to speak to Parasuram. But Parasuram, it was like he did not see Dasarat. He addressed Ram. And he said to Ram, you have broken this bow of Lord Shiva. But now show who you are. I'll give you the bow of Vishnu. And you try to string it. And at that moment, Ram took the bow from Parasuram, but he took not only the bow, but took all his powers away, and Parasuram became an ordinary person. So this shows that nobody can control the Supreme Lord. He's a supreme controller. But still, Krishna is controlled by Mother Yasoda. That is controlled by the pure love of his devotees. But otherwise, he's not controlled by anyone. So yes, therefore, in this verse, the Adhyatmic person is described that the Adhyatmic person is the controlled person, embodied person. and is controlled by this Adidevic person, by demigods like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva. So they are just different manifestations of the Paramatma feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That senses are controlled by supervision of controlling deities. So every living entity is subject to the supreme control of Paramatma. This body, it is explained in this purpose, is made of anaras, the body of the sun and the body of a human. We know the demigods, they eat also, but in a subtle way. They get offerings. Offerings to the demigods are meant for Lord Vishnu, but Lord Vishnu accepts them to the demigods. So yes, like the Brahmins also, they eat on behalf of Lord Vishnu. As some goes in our movements when they instructing their disciples when they got second initiation, now you are Brahmins, now you have to eat on behalf of Lord Vishnu, because that's not the most difficult thing. So, of course, the Vedic system of trying to become a big controller in this material world, of becoming a demigod's controller, it's this system of elevation of karma kanda. It's stupid, because they don't understand who they are. We are, and that's also important when we chant holy name. We have to understand who we are. We are a servant of the holy name. Harinam, in Harinam Chintamani, there Haridas the Guru says, to successfully chant holy name, you must be situated in Sambandha Jnana, your knowledge of your relationship with Krishna. Shivera Swarupa Hoy Nityasa. Shivera Swarupa Hoy. Nitya Tidas. We are the eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. That's higher knowledge. Many who study Bhagavad Gita, they come to the conclusion we are Brahman. And they try to merge with Brahman. Others, yogis, they want to realize Paramatma. But only the bhaktas, they try to realize who they really are. They are a part and parcel of Krishna and a servant of Krishna. And that requires transcendental intelligence to understand that there is no position in this world worth to acquire. We have to reestablish our relationship with Krishna and understand what is the purpose of my existence. The purpose is, of our existence is to serve Krishna. Shivera Swarupa, that our constitutional position is that we are a servant of Krishna. And that is our position. Even if you are a demigod, like that story of the demigods, they forget that they are servants of Krishna. And they think these are my powers. That people in this world also think, everything depends on me. But if Krishna does not permit that, you cannot do anything. That you may think I'm going to do this and that. I will remember that and I will do that. But whether you remember or have the knowledge, it depends on Krishna. And that dependence is very important also in our chanting. It's to chant properly, we need to cultivate a mood of dependence on Krishna. We need to depend a mood of, and we need to chant in the mode of helplessness, taking shelter, helplessness. That this helplessness will help us to take shelter of Krishna. If we think I do everything myself and everything will be all right, there's no progress in spiritual life. We stay in the comfort zone. And Krishna says, okay, you feel good? Okay, you don't need me. Therefore, the Rupa Goswami said there must be this laulyam, this sweet, this craving, this wanting to be with Krishna, want to serve Krishna, want to take shelter of Krishna, and that will help us to focus this mood of helplessness. And when we focus, then we have to give our love. So Prabhupada many times said, just give your attention to Krishna and then you love. But without attention, you cannot give love. So we learn about this in this Bhagavatam, and that is very important. That because sometimes there is a misunderstanding amongst devotees about the process of devotional service. We know from Shraddha to Prema that in Shraddha means we have some faith, we have heard about Krishna, and then Sadhu Sangha, we associate with devotees, we accept the spiritual master, we learn the process of devotional service. In the beginning, we struggle, Bhajana Kriya, in the practice of devotional service. It's Anishtita, and Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur gives 6 symptoms of Anishtita, and then one becomes steady. Nishtita Bhakti, Bhajana Kriya, steady devotional service. The next stage is Anartha-nivritti. If I'm studying devotional service, does my heart become purified? A good question. Nishtita Bhajana Kriya. The answer is not sure, because to come to Anartha-nivritti, which is Namabhas in the chant, you must give up your offensive mentality. Offensive mentality. There are 10 offenses. There's this verse that says, Bhaujanma, when one chants the holy name of Krishna but commits these offenses, one can chant for millions of births and not attain the desired success of the love of Godhead. So we must give up these offenses, and why are we making these offenses? Because we don't have the proper attitude to overcome them. What is the proper attitude? Lord Chaitanya gives us the proper attitude. Trinatapi Sinichina Taroga Avisasni Saisnana Amanam Kirtanya Sadari. Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavati Vachi Sakami Mamacha Mamecha Mamishve Bhavta Bhaktira Haitkita. We must be humble, tolerant, give all others to all honor to others. Don't ask honor for oneself. Don't want wealth, don't want followers, don't want the opposite sex. No, just serve Krishna without asking something in return. That mood is contrary to the mood we have adopted in this material world during our last million births. So it's not easy to chant that, to change that mood. But by hearing the Bhagavatam from today, we hear about the controller and the controlled. That's Krishna, the supreme controller. He can bring us out of this control of material nature by purifying our consciousness. So by that we become more humble. And yes, we are controlled. We learn to be tolerant. We understand by hearing the Bhagavatam. This controlled and being controlled and controller in this material world, it's not a good business. I have to get out of it. So I don't want wealth, I don't want followers, I don't want these things in this world. I just want to serve Krishna. And that by hearing the Bhagavatam, that mentality creeps in us. And surely we start this offensive mentality start to cease. And by that, we can come to anartha nivritti and purify the heart. It is not that you chant and you are offensive, that the chanting has no effect. Yes, it has effect, but not a full effect. It will be very limited. Only a few anarthas will be removed. That is what Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. That when we give up the offenses, we come in the chant of Namabhas, then it becomes like daylight. The sun is not there, but daylight. And then we can understand what's going on and see what's going on. So therefore, this hearing of the Bhagavatam about this Adhyatmic person and this Adidevic person, it's very, very revealing. And also it's very revealing, the controller and the controlled, they have all anarasa bodies. We have these stool passing bodies. The demigods are more subtle, but it are all also material bodies. So by that, because I spoke about the karma kanda, this elevation, this system is stupid. But finally, we are the stupid guys who are in this material world and want to exploit things. Bhukti Prakti Jankanan, that by Bhukti Prakti Jankanan, by trying to control material nature, we connect ourselves by this material nature and we become controlled by it. So giving that up, trying to enjoy, replace it by trying to serve Krishna. And when you replace it by serving Krishna, you will enjoy as never before on the spiritual platform. And that is our purpose. So thank you. I'm trying to say something on this verse. That any comments, questions, discussions?
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for sharing your wisdom with us. And dear devotees, if anyone may have questions, comments, realizations, you may do so by using the hand emoji or your physical hand, and if you ask them to speak. Thank you all for being here. Maharaj, you were talking about these three different personalities, the Daivic, the Atmic. These are the Daivic, these demigods who are given the power to control activities going on in the universe. Since they are living entities, they are jiva atmas. Could they be partial at some point in the in performance of their duties? And how does it come that sometimes they give favors to certain people who may not even be Krishna conscious? I'm asking this question because I think I had asked this question before to somebody, I don't remember who it was. But in Africa, there are local traditional worshippers of lesser spirits, and they worship a personality like Indra. And maybe like here in the US, July 4th, you're hardly going to expect rain. But somebody can ask Indra to pour down rain when nobody's expecting rain, and there will be rainfall. How do these people who similarly are not Krishna conscious, they're not devotees, are able to ask these divine beings to do something and they oblige and do it?
Yeah, that's interesting. Thank you for that question. In the Bhagavatam, at a certain place of in a lecture of Prabhupada, it's about Brahma. Brahma is creating the universe. He's creating living entities, mental living entities from his mind. And they come out of his mind and they get a body. But Brahma is revealed, yeah, I'm doing that, but I'm not sure. I don't know how it happens. He doesn't know that how it happens. That it's like we are eating and our digesting is going on. We don't know how it happens and what's the energy that, or we know Krishna says, I'm the digestive power in every living entity. So we know it's Krishna who is organizing the digestion. But Brahma is similar. He doesn't know how it happens. So now, sometimes Krishna does things very indirectly. And sometimes he works through to ordinary people who worship demigods and ask for a certain benediction. But Krishna has already planned that this benediction has to be given. But it's just to show that finally Krishna has also planned that. He's planning the prayer of he is doing always different things at the same time. But many people pray to God. When the householder is praying to God, please protect my house and my possessions against thieves. And the thief is praying to Krishna, Krishna, please let me steal from this householder. And what must Krishna do? But anyway, Krishna has planned already all these things to material nature. And that is just inconceivable for us. Some devotees understand something about that. We have seen in the Mahabharata that after the Battle of Kurukshetra, millions of warriors killed, and then all the sons of Dhritarashtra were killed. And after that, the the Pandavas went to see Dhritarashtra and Gandhari to console them. But then Gandhari went to Krishna and said, I know who is responsible for all of this. It's you, Krishna. You have planned everything. Because she understood Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God. He set up all the drama. And that is Krishna, that he performs the drama in this material world. And we have not much freedom than to go with that drama. That we have a little freedom that in how to react according to what is given to us, the karma which is given to us. We have the freedom how to react, but that is going to be given to us. Krishna already planned, knows that. So that is inconceivable how we do these things, because we see the moment and we see this person is acting and this person is acting, but why are they acting like this? Because of their past lives. Something happens in their past life that we don't see. So sometimes we see in Krishna's pastimes demons, like Vitrasur is a big demon, but Bhakti is a pure devotee because of his previous life. But we see the external, that so these things are inconceivable for us to understand, that how is using these ghost worshippers to organize something. But yes, it's all to do with Krishna's control, that not much we can do about it. Of course, when we become devotees, we still have these reactions, but this verse explains we get only a little of this karma, not the whole thing. That's the first thing. And yes, it helps us to surrender to Krishna, because that is different from a non-devotee's life. A non-devotee, whatever, he gets suffering and he suffers. He doesn't learn anything. That he blames God and so. But the devotee is different. Whatever good or bad happens in the life of a devotee is Krishna's mercy. But because the so-called bad helps us to detach us from the material world and take shelter of Krishna. Because we cannot imitate Queen Kuntis, who was praying for calamities, that she said she would not forget Krishna. But we don't have to pray for calamities in Kali Yuga. They come on his own accord. No need to pray for it. Anyway, that's my little comment. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Maharaj. Yes. I read one question somebody asked, and Srila Prabhupada's answer to the question. Srila Prabhupada was saying, we do not pray for miseries, but miseries come anyway. So why do we have to worry ourselves praying for something favorable? We should only pray for something if it's going to help us devotionally.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I
thank you so much, Maharaj, for answering my question. Anyone with something to ask, Maharaj? Maharaj, are you in Brussels?
I'm in near to Radhadesh for the moment.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But next Friday I'm leaving for Canada. Will be in Montreal, Toronto, Halifax, Ottawa, and so on.
Ah. Those are French-speaking zones.
Ja, je praat Frans, hè? Dat probleem.
Oh, that's good. Thank you, Maharaj.
Very good.
Anyone else with something to ask, Maharaj? I have some questions, but I would like to see if devotees have questions before I ask mine. Yeah. Well, Maharaj, if I may ask, since nobody is asking question now, my question is from this same text we're discussing. And in fact, yesterday, His Holiness Bhakti Maharaj spoke here very beautifully. And my question is in line with something Maharaj said, Bhakti Maharaj said, that sometimes some devotees speak about Lord Vishnu as if Lord Vishnu is not Krishna. It's like the whole focus, of course, is Krishna, 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 Krishna. But Maharaj was drawing a point that we should remember that we are called Vaishnavas, and a Vaishnava means one who worships Lord Vishnu. So there was a time that when Maharaj saw a devotee, a Grihastha devotee, excuse me, in his home altar, he had Lakshmi Narayan on the altar. And this Maharaj asked him, take them off, take them off, take them off the altar. And of course he did, because Maharaj said that. But later on, I've also been hearing lots of devotees say, no, you don't even want to go to Vaikuntha. Goloka, Goloka, Goloka Vrindavan. So my question is, how can we aspire to go to Goloka? How can we aspire to worship and serve Krishna without belittling or overlooking Lord Vishnu and Vaikuntha planets? How can a devotee have a mindset and an attitude in such a way that he does not belittle who Lord Vishnu is and what Vaikuntha planets are? Just focusing on Krishna Goloka, Krishna Goloka. How can we streamline our minds in such a way that we do not commit such offenses? Please.
Yes, that of course we know that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. His first expansion is Balaram. And Balaram then expands in Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, which are the presiding deities of Vaikuntha. That, and they expand further. There are unlimited Narayan expansions in the spiritual world, and then we have finally from the second set of the Chaturvyuha, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. So, yeah, Vasudeva. We have from this Sankarshan the three Vishnus appears. We come out Vishnu. Karnadakashaya Vishnu, Kapodakashaya Vishnu, and then we have the Antaryami, the Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. That so the demigods they only know Vishnu in this world. That so they are worshippers of Vishnu. That but we see also that Vasudeva and Devaki, which were Sutapa and Krishna in previous lives, they also worship Lord Vishnu to get him as their child, and yes, therefore, when Krishna appeared before them, he took first the four-armed form, Narayan. But it's a different kind of love, because the love of the Vaikuntha Vasis is in full awareness that Lord Narayan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it's not wrong to go there if you have that mood. But then you have the mood of more intense love, then the love becomes so intense in Golok that this awareness that Krishna is God is in the background. That's not so important. I want to serve him as my friend, as my son, that all of us, my lover, which is much more intense. So we have our free will. It is not that we have to go to Golok. No, we have our free will. In the presence of Lord Chaitanya, Murari Gupta was I think I was in the mood of Hanuman. That's and Hanuman means Ayodhya. You have Ayodhya in Vaikuntha. That's Vaikuntha. And one day Lord Chaitanya said to Murari Gupta, why you are chanting these names of Ram? You'd better chant the name of Krishna. He instructed Murari Gupta. And then the next day, Murari Gupta came back to Lord Chaitanya and said, I really tried the whole night, but I cannot forget my Lord Ram. So I cannot do it. I must chant the names of Ram. And Lord Chaitanya said, yes, you are Hanuman. So he could not change. It was attracted to Lord Ram, like anything. So by that we have our free will. But I asked one time I asked Bhakti Chara Maharaj, that's more than 10 years ago, he gave a seminar. And I asked him what's the mood of our Guru Parampara. And he said, the mood is the love of the manjaris, is the love of the gopis. And that's very, very strong, that mood. So most in our lines are clearly focused to Golok, to that highest love, like Rupa Manjari with Rupa Manjari and so on. But still we have our free will. Of course, we have also our eternal relationship with Krishna once when we become liberated and go beyond liberation. Krishna will reveal our relationship with him, and we will become naturally attracted to follow a certain residence of Vrindavan, it's not something we have to control. Our attraction will be revealed once we are purified by the chanting. And that's my understanding. Does that help? We don't hear you.
Sorry, I muted myself. Sorry. I said thank you so much for answering my question, Maharaj. But in answering my question, it also raised this question, especially when you were addressing Lord Chaitanya, encouraging Murari Gupta to serve Lord Krishna. And it was so difficult for him to do that. And then Lord Chaitanya told him, yes, you're doing the right thing because you are Hanuman, you are eternal servant of Sri Ram. So if we all have eternal relationship with Krishna, and someone's eternal relationship with Krishna may be that he relates with Krishna as Balaram, as Jagannath, as Lord Chaitanya, as Lord Ram. But here is the case. This particular person is an eternal servant of this particular aspect of Krishna. But here, everyone is being encouraged to follow the mood of the founder of this movement, which is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His mood is that of the like the gopis and then the manjaris, all about gopis Krishna, gopis Krishna. So if I am nobody, but if this particular Prabhu is eternal servant of Lord Shiva, because I have one particular god brother, he loves devotional service. But this guy just can't do anything without Lord Shiva. So if this person is like an eternal servant of Lord Shiva, but now he's in ISKCON and he's being trained to become servant of Krishna, but his eternal relationship with Krishna is that with Lord Shiva. And we are now encouraging him to be Krishna Bhakta. How does that fit in, trying to make everybody Krishna devotee when somebody's eternal relationship with Krishna may not be Krishna, but maybe with other aspects of Krishna?
Yeah. First, Sada Shiva is the source of all Shivas.
Yeah.
And Sada Shiva, he's Vishnu Tattva. He's not Shiva Tattva. It's a little technical, but he's the source of all Shivas in all universes. But he rules over the Brahmajyoti, not Vaikuntha. But it reminded me what you said is like there was one devotee, it's mentioned somewhere, the story in the Puranas also. But his name was Chandidas. And he was a worshipper of the goddess Chandi. That's a demigod. And his brother was a devotee. He was worshipping the Saligam Shila, Vishnu. But Chandidas had a nice garden full of flowers. And one day his brother asked Chandidas, can I have some flowers to my Saligam Shila? And Chandidas said, no, that's all reserved for the goddess Chandi. And his brother didn't make much of it. But his brother offered all the flowers in the garden in his mind to the Saligam Shila, to Vishnu. Then the next day, Chandidas took some flowers from the garden and was doing his puja to the goddess Chandi. And suddenly the goddess Chandi, the deity, started to speak to him and said, Chandidas, I'm very pleased with you. Today, you have offered me the prasadam of the Lord of my Lord.
Mm.
So Chandidas was surprised. He said, so I'm worshipping you for years. You never spoke to me, and now I offer you this, and you speak to me. And Chandidas said, yeah, but who is the Lord of your Lord? I thought you were the highest demigod. I said, no. She said, my Lord is Lord Shiva. And his Lord is Lord Krishna. So therefore, I got the Namaprasad offered to Lord Krishna. That and then Shantidas asked, why didn't you say me this before? That well, Goddess Sandi said, you prayed always for me for these material things, and I was thinking you were absorbed in it, so I'm just your servant. I fulfilled your desires. And then Chandidas, he became a devotee of Krishna.
Mm.
So finally, it came down that yes, the Lord of my Lord is Krishna. So if one takes shelter of Lord Shiva, that and here's the instructions of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva has two kinds of disciples. One kind of disciples, which are the creatures in the mode of ignorance, to which he is very merciful. But there's also disciples, great sages, whom he instructs in bhakti, pure devotional service. So that's the instruction of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva thinks always of Krishna. That is what he's doing. He's being instructed by Brahma. You cool down your anger. You always think of Krishna. Therefore is Sambhu, the best of the Vaishnavas. So if you are really a follower of Lord Shiva, you follow what he does and you concentrate your mind on Krishna. This is Lord Shiva's instructions. That so if one becomes aware of that, we still may worship Lord Shiva, but we worship him as the greatest devotee of Krishna. That's fine. Does that help?
Well, thank you so much, Maharaj, for the beautiful response to my question. Okay, I think I'll hold off my other question. But devotees, if anyone may have something to share, please you may do so before Maharaj leaves for today. Hare Krishna, thank you for being here.
Good.
Well, Maharaj, it seems devotees are much satisfied with your presentation of Srimad Bhagavatam to us all today. We can't thank you enough for being here and especially ending the month of April with us. Such a blessing. It is our humble prayers to you, Maharaj, that you pray for us, you wish us success in Krishna consciousness, because we're trying to perform devotional service, not to come back to continue, but to finish the goal today at this particular lifetime, to make it this lifetime, make it perfect, complete, and possibly go back. So this is our fervent prayer to you today. And thank you so much, Maharaj.
Please pray also for me so that I can continue my service.
Oh, Maharaj.
Thank you very much.
Maharaj. Well, thank you so much, Maharaj. We're going to humbly request all the devotees to kindly unmute, and we all chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to express our deepest appreciation to our revered speaker, His Holiness Bhakti Prabhu Swami Maharaj. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpa taribhyascha, kripa sindhuvya eva cha, patitanam pavanebhyo, Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. All glories to His Holiness Bhakti Prabhu Swami Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna, Vaishnava, Vaishnavi devotee.